So namaloha everyone, welcome to the live stream, and let me know if you can hear me okay. And also be sure to put down your human design type and profile if you know it, and your astrology information too, at least your sun and rising and moon. Okay, so I'm assuming I'm good, so pipe up if you can't hear me. Okay. So how is everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm not doing so great, but my digestion kind of stopped on as soon as Mercury went retrograde, so I'm kind of dealing with that. That's why the online retreat has been bumped for another week, but I just wanted to come on the live stream because I don't like to go too long without doing a video. Okay, that's great. Yay, great. You guys can hear me. Okay, so we'll see how long this is going to be. So you notice that, do you guys know Groundhog Day? The movie Groundhog Day? If you want to learn everything you need to know about spirituality, it's in this movie, Groundhog Day. So it fits with the 35th gate, which is up here. Right? So there's Mars and Jupiter. That's of today, right? It was activated on October 6th and then goes until the 14th. So the 35 comes off the throat chakra right there. So it's the shadow of boredom. It's a shadow of boredom. So basically it's about needing, like feeling compelled to have new experiences, new human experiences. So how that applies to Groundhog Day, right? We go back here. This is a great movie if you haven't seen it. I've seen it many, many times, and I get the irony of that. So it's basically a person, it's a comedy, but it's a person, Bill Murray, the character, right? The actor that plays the character is Bill Murray, and he wakes up the same day over and over and over and over and over again. So it shows his journey in terms of how he deals with this. You can imagine you're waking up the same day over, the same things are happening over and over and over again. So of course he resists at the beginning, right? He resists that. So this is what we do on the spiritual journey, is we resist, right, our reality. And then he goes into exploiting. How can I exploit? This is the ego's journey. How can I exploit this scenario? So it's like sleeping, manipulating and sleeping with all the women in the town, robbing banks, right? There's no consequences. So he eats whatever he wants. He does whatever he wants. He's reckless, right? And then he gets bored of that. So it's this boredom, right? It's like needing more and more experiences. And then he gets to the point where he doesn't want to even live anymore. No, he gets to a point where he improves himself. So he does all these things where he becomes the ice sculptor and does all these amazing things because he has all this time, right? It's all about impressing. There's the ego again. I need to impress people around me. And then he finally gets to the point where he doesn't want to live anymore. He just wants to get out of this loop, right? But he can't. He keeps waking up, right, every morning. And then his way out was finally he learned to serve, right? Finally the ego gets humbled enough, right? And then he learns to serve, and that's where he gets out of the loop and he finds happiness and true fulfillment when he starts serving other people. Anyway, it's really interesting, but it fits totally with this 35, right? This 35. So let's go, in terms of human design, I wrote a few notes here, right? So this is about experience. It's about needing experiences. So why don't you check your own natal chart to see if you have this 35 and you're going to relate to it. But if not, we're going to feel this because Mars, right, is our action, right? It's our actions, desires, right? And then Jupiter just expands everything it touches. So this could be coming up for you, like I'm bored with my life. Nothing seems to be happening in my life. Maybe there's lots happening, but not what the ego wants happening, right? The ego wants to fulfill its desires. And what's happening now in terms of the cross of planning, which has been ruled by the ego's getting neutered, right? The ego's not getting what it wants. It doesn't have the same power it did in the cross of planning. And even the Piscean age, the last 2,000 years, right? The ego would gain its power through destruction, right? Think of the atomic bomb, right? Destroying someone's self-esteem, right? Things like that. The destruction, that's where the power came from for the ego. But that's not working anymore. All the power now is in unity, right? Because we're moving into unity consciousness for 2027 and onward, right? For the cross of the sleeping phoenix. So, so this 35, well, let's just go into the shadow here, right? Just move me out of the way. Get me out of the way here. Okay. So this is what happens when you're in the shadow, right? So this is called the shadow of hunger. I'm hungry. Hungry for new experiences. This is the ego, right? Shadow of boredom, hunger. Well, what does it do? It pulls you away from your own rhythm, and this can make you impatient. So pulled away from your own rhythm, that's like you're disconnected from Mother Earth. The Earth, as long as we're aligned with the Earth, we're aligned with our own rhythm, our natural rhythm. So when you get pulled away from that, which technology would do, right? Being distracted in the mind, in the head, overthinking, this can make you impatient. You need something now. The shadow is like, I need something now to fulfill me. No delayed gratification. I need it now. And I need to satiate this hunger without any regard for the consequences, right? Life's not fulfilling my expectations and I feel disappointed, right? So that would be a complete opposite of gratitude. Compelled to follow what you think, right? The ego is going to give you the thoughts of like, this will fulfill you, and it's always something outside of yourself, and this creates an addiction. You need to dismiss it if it doesn't come through. So maybe your ego is hungry for a person, an experience with this person, or a relationship with this person. And then if it doesn't come through, then this is the fox and the sour grapes. It's like, well, he was no good or she was no good because of this, and this, right? Or you could dismiss spirituality. You had expectations for spirituality. You had expectations for a system, right? And not fulfilling the ego, the shadow, then it's like, I'm just going to destroy it, basically. And then the other part of the shadow is to run away from your past and hunt down, right? Hunger is like a hunting down that perfect thing that will fulfill my dreams. And there we've got Jupiter and Mars there in the shadow, right? So Mars is going to want you to act on this if you're unconscious. And we'll probably see it out in the world. People doing anything to make themselves feel better, right? Because the 35 also rules our serotonin level. And our serotonin rises when we're in the frequency of love. When we're with our soul, basically. And then the serotonin goes down when we're in fear and in our ego and shadow, right? But the ego and the shadow are having you look outside yourself, right? Outside, when it's all about going inward now. So what is this shadow fear? The ultimate fear is that your life is empty, right? Is empty. There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on, right? Your shadow feels boredom. So then you fill it with activity, mindless activity. Your shadow feels victimized by your need for change, right? And so this is why it's called the gate of progress. It's the gate of progress. It's about improvement. I've got to improve myself constantly, right? But the problem here, because you may think, well, there's nothing wrong with that. What are you talking about? Well, this is what we're conditioned to do, right? Is chase things outside of ourselves to improve ourselves, if we look at that. But it may or may not be correct for you, That relationship may or may not be correct for you. That experience may or may not be correct for you. So that's why you've got to go to at least to your strategy to know what your strategy and authority are in human design, right? I had another thought about that. Okay. 35. So, I know what I wanted to say. So it's really every experience. This is all you have to know. I'll get myself back up here. So with every experience, because we're here to have experiences, this is how we learn, is you want to make sure that you enter each experience correctly. So if you're a projector, then you want to be invited. These are like the major big experiences, right? In terms of like maybe a relationship. Well, you want to be invited, right? You need to be recognized and then invited as a projector. So as long as you enter into the experience correctly, then you stay as yourself through the experience, right? But if you enter incorrectly, right? So maybe you're a generator in MG and then you initiate something, you enter not, you don't inform, you don't share, you don't respond, right? Then that's for the MGs and the Gs. Manifesting generators and generators, they have to respond, right? Respond with a yes or no from their sacral. So if they go in not as themselves, they're going in as the not self, and that means I'm going in as the not self, that means I'm going in as that shadow, right? I'm bored, I need to fulfill something, I need instant gratification. You end up wasting your energy. And when you waste your energy, your power goes down. Your power as a creative being goes down, 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 down. So authenticity, like I repeat like a broken record, is your power, is your superpower, is your authenticity. So you have to remain as yourself. So here we have this energy right now to the 14th. That's going to be very, very powerful, pulling you into some experience that may or may not be correct for you, right? Because you've got Jupiter and Mars here too. So if you're unconscious, right, you're going to be pulled right into this. This is the program, the conditioning program that we're under. So, okay. So the purpose of these experiences, maybe you have the 35 and it's correct for you to have new experiences. Like, well, what's the purpose of these experiences? Well, it's the circuitry, right, is either individual or tribal or collective. So this is a collective, the channel of transitoriness, the 3635. This is collective. This means that it's impersonal. It's impersonal. So somebody that has this channel, they don't really, it's not about you personally. Maybe they're like hungry for an experience with you, and you go on this amazing trip together and blah, 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 and then you come back home, you never hear from that person again, right? Because they have the experience with you. It's not personal, it's impersonal. So then they get to share the story. The 35 is all about the story, right? How can I communicate the story of what I learned from this experience, you know? So if people have this is why it's a good idea to have the charts of the people, that the major players in your life, right? You understand them a lot better. Or say you're in a relationship with someone like this, or you're dating somebody and you know they have the 35, 36. It's like not to be like, you know, planning the wedding basically. It's like, no, they're compelled to have an experience, and I played the part of this experience for them, right? What else do I want to say here? So the real fear is that the fear is being victimized by your need for change. But also, if we look at it another way, it's the fear of just things remaining the same. Remaining the same. And the thing with the ego loves change, in a sense, right? As long as it doesn't have to change. right? The ego loves change as long as it doesn't have to change. And it's dictated around the ego. But if the ego, because true change is that ego gets more and more diluted. The ego doesn't like that, right? It wants everything on the external changing. But we're learning with the cross of the sleeping phoenix that everything happens inside first. It's an internal process now. There's we won't see any change outside unless we change inside. This is for the collective of humanity and you as an individual. Nothing's going to change in your life until you make these internal shifts within. Okay. Okay. So let's look at the Nine of Swords. I can tell I'm not on my game like 100%, so bear with me. So Nine of Swords, that correlates with this whole transit. Mars and Jupiter are together from August 6th to the 14th. And so they're in the second decan of Gemini. So that's the Nine of Swords. So what's the Nine of Swords? This is the anxiety card. This is the 2 up in your head. 2 up in your head about things, right? And when you're up here in your head, you're not living your life. You're not present to your life at all, right? So this can be a time where, you know, to really bring gratitude into your life and be present in your life and to see and enjoy this time. I told you this new moon is like a window of time where it's like a time to reflect. Remember the 33? That was the new moon was in the 33. But not to get caught up in this anxiety. Nothing's going to change and I better do something and going to fear, right? This mental anxiety it's not a good place for you to be in. And what do I want to say here about this 9? This Nine of Swords. Just see the comments a little bit here. Okay, so people know Groundhog Day. Robert knows Groundhog Day. Yeah. Renee said, yeah, that's me right now. I'm the 35. And the thing is, if you listen to that ego, because the ego is going to come up with a lot of promises. It's like, because it's the 35, right? The 35. So it's about serotonin. It's about your brain chemistry, but it's about getting that hit, right? It's about the ego getting its hit. And the ego gets hit. Like the ego loves this hit, right? Because it's like this jolt of energy. And basically you're feeding the ego when you're following it. You're giving your authority over to your ego, your not self, and then it gets hit by these things. A new person, a new experience. Yes, right? But then it's instant gratification. It goes down and you end up feeling worse than you did at the beginning, you know? When you follow the ego, it only leads to suffering. It only leads to suffering. So let me look at the Nine of Swords. Right, so when you're in this state, this is fear. This is totally overrun by fear. And the fear is affecting your thoughts, right? The fear is affecting your thoughts. And the ego is there, and the ego avoids pain, seeks pleasure. That's how it works. Avoids pain, seeks pleasure. And the pleasure is always instant. It's not long-term. You're not looking long-term thinking at all, right? That you have to watch this. Like reflect, take a pause. Is this really true for me? Right? Is this true for me to go forward on this through this experience that my ego is telling me to do? Or am I just trying to avoid pain? Some kind of pain that's coming into the surface to be integrated. Okay. There it is. So this is worry, right? Depression, obsessive thinking, anxiety. So with the Nine of Swords, you want to ask yourself, maybe you're going through this right now, right? So what's troubling you? That's a question to ask. Like, what's troubling me? What am I thinking constantly about? Is it real or perceived? How are these negative thoughts affecting my day-to-day experiences? How are the negative thoughts affecting my energy? Bring it back to energy. It's going to be contracting your energy. And how can you look at things from a positive perspective? So whatever is going on in your life, maybe there's you're in a famine, to bring it back to hunger, like you're in a famine for experiences, like nothing new is happening in my life. Like no new people are coming in. No new opportunities are coming in. Well, to go here is to follow the ego, and then you're in this space, right? But if you look at it from a positive, and this is not about sugarcoating, it's about getting to the capital T truth, that everything that's happening or not happening in my external world is really supporting me in my spiritual journey of growth and evolution. Right there, that's going to pull you out of this Nine of Swords energy. So look at it from a positive perspective, wherever you feel the shadow is coming up for you, the 35. And have faith, right? Have faith here. So this is different than positive thinking. It's like you have faith that this is like it's gonna have a positive outcome, and everything is perfect the way that it is. Even in the world, extended to the world, it looks like total chaos out in the world right now, and the world is falling apart. It's like, no, this is part of our process. It's part of the Great Awakening. Yeah. Okay. That's what I would say about that. Okay. Let me just look at some comments here, and then we'll go to the readings. Comments. Okay. Good to see the projectors here and the manifestor. Okay. Okay. Satnam. Okay. Renee says, no, I'm not feeling fear or anxiety. Nothing like that. I volunteered to train you. I'm bored with my job. Yeah. Okay, so boredom, you can say like, I'm bored, I'm angry. Let's break this down. She's brought up a good point here. So I'm bored at my job. All right, I'm bored at my job. This is the shadow of the 35. I'm bored at my job, right? So if you look and you're like, well, that's not about fear or anxiety, but you've got to break it down. We break these emotions down. So boredom, if you really tune into yourself, right, you're going to feel this frustration, right? Especially if you're a G or an MG or especially an MG. Well, an MG, a G, and a manifestor. You feel this anger, right? Frustration, annoyance. Like it may be really, really subtle. But if you even break that down further, you're going to feel the fear. And it's very, very subtle. And it's connected to the physical body, right? This is the shadow work that I deal with. It's like, it's not just psychological in the mind. It's like physical. It's a physical, visceral experience. And this is part of the solar plexus mutation that we're going through. So it's just about accepting, be curious. That's what I do, and this is a great way technique to use in terms of your ego. Because anything that ego or the mind doesn't understand, which is a lot, it doesn't understand spirituality at all, the mind and the ego, not true spirituality to a certain level. But as soon as that information comes in and it's challenging the ego will dismiss it, right? Completely dismiss it and keep it away from you, right? Block you from it. What I do, the technique I use is just like, well, I'm just letting it in. I'm letting this information in. I'm not going to say I agree with it 100%, but I'm not going to say that I disagree with it 100%. I'm just going to let it be there. And then you just let it percolate, right? Let it percolate. We have to learn how to deal with our mind and ego, right? During this time. Keep the faith. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to do next is readings for the 5 types. And let me know if you enjoyed the twin flame reading that I've incorporated, because these are the new relationships that are coming in after 2027, because we're moving from that 37. Oh, this is in the way. Just a sec. I see myself in the way there. Okay. So let me know if you enjoy this, and you notice that I'm editing it out so that people that aren't familiar with human design or Kundalini Yoga can see this. Okay, so basically how this deals with human design is because right now we are in the 37.1. That's the theme that we've been in since 1961. We've been in the 37th gate since 1615. Okay? And then, it goes 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, 1961 to 2027. Okay? So not only are we moving into a new gate, hexagram, but we're moving into a new line. Right? And that's the 55.6. This is all about our relationships. We're moving from the old tribal way to this new way, right? The 55.6. So this is about spiritual. This is about a spiritual connection with another person, deeply spiritual. Even the term soulmate, right? From 16, 15 onward was emotional love. It was emotional love. It was attachment. It came with conditions, right? It came with a lot of illusion and delusions. 55.6 is a totally different way of us connecting. So this is what these twin flames, that's the modern parlance of this term, right, is twin flame. So that's why I wanted to just do a reading and kind of incorporate the twin flames in. So let me know if you have met your twin flame, or you haven't yet. You will, because enlightenment is not going to be one by one anymore, right? Not one person at a time. It's going to be 2 by 2. So the relationships. This is part of our new spiritual journey. Okay. And if you don't know anything, or you know a little bit and you're interested, then please come to my webinar series. It'll be over 6 hours long, August 24th to the 31st. So I did a reading. And the other thing to bring it back to this 35, right? That's Gemini. The 35 is Gemini. Mars and Jupiter and Gemini. What's the ruler of Gemini? Is Mercury. And Mercury's in retrograde, so be sure to watch my Mercury retrograde video. And then the 59 is the programming partner, because all these 64 hexagrams, they're 32, right? 32 hexagrams, they each have a twin, right? They have a twin. That's the programming partner. So the 59 and the 55 are together. This is a huge part of the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix that's coming in 2027. So what is this saying? It's to be honest. is to be honest and start with yourself. This is transparency, right? The shadow is dishonesty. It's time to be honest with yourself first. And I mean, that's so entrenched in our relationships where we're dishonest with one another because we fear one another, right? We fear one another. This is going deep, deep, deep. Like I said, in the physical. Okay. So let's get I want to get my overlays up here. Right there. Okay. So I already did a reading before I logged on. The other ones I'll do right here because they're spontaneous. Okay. So this is in terms of twin flames. Remember that there's the chaser and the runner. So we've got one soul and two bodies. And one body plays the chaser. And one body plays the runner. And this is impersonal. This is because you may say, I want to be the runner. Why do I have to be the chaser? Or I want to be the chaser. I don't want to be the runner. It's impersonal. It has nothing to do with you. It's all about your soul. This soul that's in two bodies. So the question that I asked was just what's going on, right? Clarity on the twin flames that are part of my collective, not my collective, my fractal line, right? There's 144,000 templates. And so one of my templates is me and you. I'm on your template. You're on my template. If you're watching this and you're into me, you'll know by the sound of my voice if I resonate with you or not. If I don't resonate with you and you're like, you find my voice irritating or me irritating, then you're probably not on my fractal. Okay, so I chose an ego card. I did, and the divine chose an ego card. So the chaser is the one, just a reminder. The chaser is the one that's being called because when the twin flames meet, one soul and two bodies, but then they meet on the 3D realm. And then what happens when those two bodies come together, the soul recognizes itself in the other body. Now the runner may not, the runner's more unconscious in a sense than the chaser, but there'll be some kind of recognition and then things get activated. And that's when this polarization happens with the soul. And one becomes the chaser, one becomes the runner. So one's running away from the chaser, and then the chaser's chasing the runner, basically. And this is the drama that you hear on the internet in terms of separation. But there's a purpose to it. Okay? So the question that I asked, let's start with the runner first, because they're the easiest. The runner here. Okay. Those are the cards for the runner. So what's the runner dealing with? Is authority figure. Authority figures. So this is all about childhood stuff. And look, it's in the 5th house. I got the 5th house card too. These are the astrology deck that I have. And the 5th house is childhood. Childhood. So that echoes this authority figure. So this is dealing with authority figures. The runner. That's what they're being called to do right now. On the external. Because the runners deal with things on the external, in the external world. So authority figures. If you're having a problem with an authority figure, right? There's usually a fear of an authority figure. Well, that goes back to your parents. That just goes back to the parents. It's actually the inner child that's fearing their parents. And they project that fear. The inner child projects that fear onto an authority figure. So anyone that you would perceive as having authority over you, like a boss or a landlord, right? Somebody, even a friend, right? That you're afraid to confront them, then this is the inner child at work. So perhaps the runner is listening to this authority figure, maybe doing some people pleasing, right? Not standing up for themselves. Whatever it is, this is what they're dealing with. And what they're dealing with is they have to stand up for themselves. Because it's really about becoming a spiritual adult for both the runner and the chaser. It's a spiritual awakening. That's what the whole process is about. So with the authority figure, this is listening to this is an ego trap, right? So it's listening to the ego mind of like, well, I have to be in reality, right? With twin flames, you're in a different world. The twin flame phenomenon does not belong. It doesn't belong in the past for sure. It doesn't come from the past. This is a new consciousness. This is about the soul. The soul doesn't obey laws on the planet. If man-made laws on the planet or tribal traditions on the planet, soul doesn't care. Soul doesn't care that your twin flame is married, or your twin flame is like way older than you, or your twin flame is a different race and religion. Doesn't care about all these obstacles, right? The soul is beyond that. So the runner may be dealing with some of that, like the tribal traditions that's coming from their childhood, that's coming from their parents and their ancestors. Because it's really about the inner child wanting that love, that unconditional love from their parent. And this is why they try to get it from the authority figures in the external world, right? I have to be responsible. I have to do this, and this is what's right, and this is what's wrong. And the soul doesn't care, right, at all about that. It just wants to be united. The soul wants to be united with with its counterpart in that other person. Right? So, but the unconditional love, I doubt any runners are watching this. Let me know if you're a runner, actually, or you think you're a runner. Is what the inner child really wants here is oneness. And it wants unconditional love. So does that mean that you have to get that from the chaser? No, you can give that to yourself. Remember, this journey is about becoming self-sovereign, whole unto yourself for 2027 and onward. Right? So we've got this as the ego trap. And then the guidance is this Eight of Wands and Knight of Swords. And this is about communication. It's about movement. So this could be calling the runner that they need to communicate to this so-called authority figure in their life, stand up to them. And if you want to go to the ultimate authority figure, I would go to the ego, not self. Do it that way. And then you don't even have to do it on the external. But the runner doesn't work that way. They've got to do all this on the external. If you're a chaser, you can do it this way. So maybe you're the chaser and you're, oh yeah, I can relate to this myself, right? Certain people I compromise around, right? I don't speak my truth, right? So this is like major movement, and this is what's stopping you. Fear of standing up to a parent, to your internal parent. And then the fifth house, this is passion, right? This is passion. You got wands here. You got the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is totally on instinct. So the fifth house is about passion. It's about creativity. It's about romance. All this stuff is on the other side of this challenge for you, the fifth house. It's the artist. It's the inner child, right? It's the things we love to enjoy. We enjoy, right? That's the fifth house, is what we enjoy. And this is what's keeping you back from this. That's what the runner is dealing with. So let's bring it back, because we're talking about the 35. The 35, which is about a new experience. Right? It's about a new experience. So it's not all bad, right? Just the shadow of hunger. If you enter into this relationship, because let's say it's the twin flame connection, this new relationship, or a new relationship even with your own creativity and your inner child, then this could be really, really positive for you. Because 35 is adventure. That's the gift, is to go on an adventure. to have this experience. Maybe you've never had this experience in your life. Maybe you've never experienced true love. That's what twin flames is. It's true love. It's unconditional love. It's like the greatest love that you can have, right? As a human being, it's the twin flame love, because it's unconditional. It's divine. And the way that all this is set up, this mechanism, is like you can't be codependent, right? It just won't work. There can't be hooks. You can't throw harpoons in other people, like, right, the old way of doing relationships. So that's where it's headed, this union. Now, if we look at the chaser side, you got the defensive card right there. That's the ego, right? So there's the ego. It's saying, put up your shields as the chaser. Put up your shields. Don't trust anyone that gets too close, right? And then manipulation. The defensive too is a bit manipulative. It can manipulate others to stay away, So in terms of this, with the defensive, right? Because if we bring it back to the 35 and then Mercury and the 59, and it's all about being honest, right, with yourself. Because remember, during separation, it's really about the chaser. You're in charge. If you're a chaser, you're probably a chaser if you're listening to this right now. You're in charge of this whole thing. And that means that you have to go deep, deep within and then get brutally honest with yourself. That's what the transits are saying. Get brutally honest with yourself with the 59, right? And it starts with you. And so some questions are asked are, where do I get defensive? Where am I afraid of vulnerability? That's the 59. Where am I afraid to really open my heart to another person? Like, really, where am I afraid to open my heart even to myself? Ask yourself those questions. So there can be some defensiveness, and this keeps the runner away. That's why you're in charge. The runner can't come in until you've done this healing, right? There's no way. Maybe they consciously want to come in, but no, the energy is like, no, they can't come in until you heal. You have to heal this. So I would look at that, and then the guidance here is the Page of Swords and the Four of Cups. So this is Page of Swords is an air sign, so it's all about gathering information, right? So it's like questioning this ego that's saying to keep them away. I don't want anything to do with these people. This is all your relationships you can look at too. We'll gather the information. Is this true or not? Is this really true or not about this other person? Or am I listening to ego stories that are keeping others away from me, right? And there I am, justified in not taking that cup. This is the ingratitude card. There's the cup. Somebody's offering their cup. And you're like, no, it's not perfect, right? That's the 35, right? The 35 of hunger. I'm disappointed. The shadow, right? If we go to the shadow, right? I'm disappointed. It's not coming through. This person's not coming through, so I'm going to do a fox and the sour grapes. Well, the grapes are sour anyway. I'm just leaving, that story, the fox and the sour grapes, right? So dismissing it, that would be the Four of Cups there. And then if we go to the moon card, and that's perception, if you can see that. So it's emotional at the root of it, right? At the root of it. And I would even go, the moon is mother. It can represent mother in astrology. I would go back to your past. And moon represents the past too. That's something, this is a defense, right? It's an emotional defense pattern to keep people away from your heart, because your inner child, if we go back to the inner child, has a broken heart, right? So that's the defense pattern. Don't let anybody get too close to me because I don't want to feel this hurt, But that's your job as the chaser. You have to feel this hurt, this broken heart, right? Yeah. And you can't escape it. You can't escape this healing. You've already had the trigger. You got to activate it, right? If you know that you got to activate it, you can't escape it. You're on the healing journey. Okay. Yeah. I just want to read some comments here because I really enjoy reading your comments. And leave your comments too if you're watching this on the replay. Robin says she's never found my voice annoying. Thank you. Okay. Renee says she thinks she's the runner. Okay. Until I hear about the chaser. Okay. Is the union between the chaser and runner a healthy dynamic? So now this is when you're looking at things from, and it depends on what your perspective is, right? If you're looking at it from, I'm a psychologist and I'm looking at, this is really, really unhealthy. Or am I looking at it from a spiritual perspective, right? But ultimately it's about you loving yourself. So as soon as you love yourself, especially as the chaser, the twin's going to reflect that back to you, right? But that's what it's really about. Because the old way, the emotional love, I need you to love me, right? Do you see how it's like external to yourself? I need to make you love me, and then I'll love myself. It's like everything's flipped. It's like so incorrect on our planet right now. This is what brings you back to yourself. That's what this twin flame journey is about, is you're learning how to really, truly love yourself, where you get to the point where you don't even care. I don't care if my twin flame is there or not, you know? I'm happy and content on my own. It's like a bonus, right? So you're like the main course and the twin flame is your dessert. You don't need the dessert. You're fine on your own. Yeah. Okay. So you can't look at it like that, because as soon as you say healthy, it's unhealthy. Because what we're doing in the twin flame journey is we're transcending duality, right? We're coming into unity consciousness as a collective of humanity, and this is the grace of God is moving through our relationships through these twin flames now, right? So as soon as you say, is this healthy? Then it's like it's unhealthy. It's like both. Right? You want the unity inside yourself. Okay. Bethany, I feel like I was the runner, then I got used to the chaser. Now he doesn't seem to be chasing me. I feel like I was a runner. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, we got some runners. They're saying they're runners. Then that's what's meant to be. Interstellar cosmic conversations, Patricia says. That's a mouthful. What if the twin flames don't come together in this lifetime? Well, they don't come together in this lifetime, right? But it's really up to you as the chaser. But you're not doing it. You're not doing this internal work to get to the twin flame. And that's why spiritual teachers, I said this in the last video, I said it was dangerous on the spiritual journey to introduce the twin in this lifetime, because they've been around, but we've never met. They've never met. They've never connected on the 3D realm, because the mind and the ego are fixated on the twin, because that's that pull of the soul to be united with its counterpart is so powerful, especially on the chaser side, right? That it would like you would forget your soul purpose, basically. You'd make your twin flame your soul purpose. But now they're coming in really, really strong. Yeah. Okay. Yes, love the self first. Okay. Yeah, the chaser. Okay. But really, runner chaser, you're both in a sense, right? Because you're running. I don't want to complicate this too much, but right, it's about you running from yourself and your soul. And so what the twin is doing is just mirroring that back to you. If they keep running and you never meet, that means that you're completely separate from your soul. It's about you uniting with your own soul, and then the twin will show up. Right? They have no choice. They'll just show up. They'll be orbiting around you because they are you, and vice versa, right? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, it's an interesting. Okay. So let's go to the types here. So just a reminder or little note for the people that are on here. I'm not feeling very well, so I'm not totally on my game. So if you're probably experiencing that a little bit. I'm going through my own healing. Okay, so let's go for the generators first. And let's do this here. I just have to take my time. Okay. Right there. Okay. There we go. There's the generators. And generators, it's really important for generators that they love what they do. They have to love what they do. They're here to work. They're here to contribute. I don't like the word work. They're here to contribute. Something very important to rebirth. It's a rebirth. It's building this new earth, right? So make sure that you're doing what you love to do. And this is a time with the new moon in the 33, a time to reflect, go within. What am I doing? Am I happy? Am I fulfilled? And this is why I've got my soul purpose retreat. It's been bumped, you see. August 16th to the 18th, so you learn more what's going on in your chart. Your human design chart will show you. We'll be able to point you. It's really helped me, too, to get clear on my soul purpose. Not just as a projector, but going deeper into the chart. Okay, so what do we want to do here? I wonder if I should put all these back in. Okay. I just want to organize my cards. Have people been experiencing time speeding up? That's a good question for people. You know, you look at your to-do list and you maybe got one or two things done and then it's time to sleep. I've been experiencing that. Okay, so for the generators, we're talking about Jupiter and Mars together from August 6th to the 14th. And this is this energy can compel you to have a new experience, which could be good as long as you're following your strategy and your authority. Or it could be a big waste of your energy and time. This 35 could get people in lots of trouble, right? They go on a vacation and then they hook up with somebody and they're coming back with a little gift, a little baby or something, right? Things like that. Or getting trapped in experiences that aren't correct for you. Okay. So let's see what the ego is telling our generator friends. What's the ego telling our generator friends? Okay. Okay. And then I'll do a little tarot card too. Okay. So generator, just while I'm shuffling, I'll talk. You got the runner card. So that's part of the twin flame dynamic. So I would suggest you go back. If you're watching the replay, watch the twin flame part. Okay, what guidance do we have for our generator friends with this hunger, shadow of hunger? Okay. Okay. So in terms of the ego generators, you got the runner card and then the money temptation card. That came up last week too. Okay. And then the Three of Swords, the heartbreak card, and then the Eight of Pentacles. That's the work card. Okay. Okay. So go back to the twin flame part of this reading, right? Because this is the runner. That's the runner. So in terms of twin flame, this is the one soul and two bodies, and then they get activated on the 3D, and boom, one's the chaser, one's the runner. So this is really bringing our attention to the runner, the generator runner. And then Three of Swords on the twin flame journey. This represents separation, right? This is like heartbreak. Heartbreak. Yeah. It's emotional pain. It's emotional pain. So what basically it's doing is bringing up, and maybe you're like, well, I don't think I'm part of this twin flame thing he's talking about. Well, then just look at your relationships. Right? Because all your relationships are preparing you for your twin flame. Right? So what's going on for here in terms of your heartbreak? Because look what's here. Right? The Nine of Swords. That connects with the Mars and Jupiter and the 35. So you may be avoiding this pain by the Eight of Pentacles, which is like workaholism. Work. Right? And so this is like in terms of addiction, this is the socially acceptable one. I'm busy. I'm working. Look how productive I am. I'm a good little slave on the planet. Yay, you're a good slave. Right? Earn more money for us. Stay busy. But you may be avoiding your real work, which is dealing with this heartbreak. The Three of Swords. Right? So you're working and you're falling for that money temptation, right? I can't get love because that's what you want. I want unconditional love. You may not even know you want that. We all want this unconditional love. We want that experience of oneness because that's who we are, right? But what the ego comes in with the hunger, this 35, and says, chase the dollar. This is going to give you the love that you want. This is going to give you the respect that your parents never gave you. This is going to give you the self-value that your parents never gave you. All the things you didn't get as a child, the ego says you're going to get when you get all this money, right? And when you get this material windfall or whatever, right? So there's the 35. Yes, I want the experience of being busy and working hard and, right? And getting the kudos and the pats from everybody around me because it's, good little slaves they like to encourage other slaves too. Because remember, as a generator, that's what you're transmuting is the slave. Is the slave. And the slave is, take my sacral energy, right? This is your sacral, my life force energy, and I'll exchange it for all these pieces of paper. Right here, the money temptation. I'll exchange it for all these little pieces of paper. And so the game goes on. and on. Hundreds and hundreds of years this game's going on. The generator has to finally stand up. The awakened generator has to stand up and say, no, you don't have access to this energy. I'm not trading this energy for food, shelter, clothing, basically, right? I'm going to be self-sovereign now. I'm listening to my own inner authority now. I'm not listening to other people, right? So if you're running, if you've met your twin flame, or you're running in your relationships, so you're running from that broken heart, the Three of Swords, which is your real work, then it's keeping you in this cycle, right? Keeping you in this cycle. And so you're in this cycle because you're afraid. Generator, you've got fear. You've got this fear inside you that wants to be released, right? So it's about stopping. 35, we're in the new moon in the 33, so watch that new moon video if you haven't. That's a stop codon, so it's saying to stop, and it's like, why am I working so hard, right? Why am I chasing these dollars, right? With the promises of what are the promises? What's this ego promising me? Is this correct for me? What am I avoiding, right? What am I avoiding with this Three of Swords? Could be some old, the twin flame can trigger it for sure, but it could be old, like from your childhood, right? Of having a broken heart. So what's the root of your sorrow and heartbreak? There's a question. How can you release these intense emotions? You stop, you meditate. There's lots of Kundalini yoga meditations. I've got one for childhood anger that you can practice, a calm heart. It's in the information box, right? This can happen really, really fast, your healing. And what new opportunity might arise, right? From this pain, of feeling this pain. Yeah. Well, if we go back to the twin flame reading, well, passion, that's the 5th house, is passion. Creativity, romance, the 5th house, things that you enjoy to do, right? For just the sake of enjoyment. There doesn't have to be an outcome. Well, if I do this, I have to be the greatest artist in the world. It's like, no, I'm doing it for my own enjoyment. This is inner child work, the 5th house. So that's what I would look at there. And to go within, stop chasing the material world. This new sleeping phoenix energy that's coming in 2027 onward, it's about going inward. It's not looking out here. This is the ego's trick. Everything you want is out there. That's what the 35 is saying. The shadow. Everything is outside of you. You got to go run and chase it. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else? Is there anything else for the generators? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and take that energy that you're working and chasing the dollar and bring it to your own spiritual work, your own internal work. Bring that energy there. Right? Okay. Yeah. Don't give up, wake up. Wake up channel, 15 years daily Kundalini. I know. I just had my 20th in May, my 20-year anniversary of meditating every single day, Kundalini yoga meditation. I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying that it's a long haul. It's a long haul, this work, and it's just and one of my gifts and my sole purpose is commitment. So, yeah. You just keep on going, right? This is what's called of us is you keep on going. Every morning you get up, you get on the mat, right? And just do the work, the internal work. Okay. Different ones, different meditations. tons of them, like 90 days, 120 days. Not the same meditation every, oh my God, talk about boredom. The shadow. Yeah. But you could see this 35 would get activated. Meditation every single day. And it's just part of it. It just becomes a habit. And that's why you start at 40 days. It creates a habit. It creates a habit. I don't even think about it. I don't even have to think now. I just do it. It's just part of what I do. Okay. Keep on keeping on. That's right. Okay. So where are we now? Are we at the MGs? Let me see. Let's go the MGs. Okay, so we're at the manifesting generators. So we're talking about this Jupiter-Mars conjunction in terms of human design, August 6th to the 14th, and that's when Mars, your desires, actions, is kissing Jupiter. And they're both in the 35. So Jupiter expands whatever it touches, and then Mars wants to take action. So 35 is the channel of experience, not the channel, the gate of experience. It's the gate of progress. It's the shadow of hunger. It keeps you outward. The shadow keeps you focused outward on gaining new experiences, right? So the fear is I'm going to be bored. I'm bored. You'll notice that with people. Watch them sitting. What do? People don't like to sit too long with the thoughts of their own mind. They like to be alone, right? Because this feeling comes up, this emptiness or boredom, and then the ego is like, get out the phone, distract yourself somehow, right? That's what this shadow is about. Okay, so we're not saying this is good or bad, the 35. If you have it natally, then it's correct for you. But we're all going to feel this as a transit. So what I'm doing is be aware of it. Be aware of it. I'm compelled. I'm bored. I'm so bored. Nothing's happening in my life. Nothing my ego wants to happen. Like other stuff's happening, but my ego doesn't like that. But nothing I want that I've been waiting for, right, is happening. That and then the ego is, well, do this and do that and do that, and there's all these false promises, right? And it's to keep you on this treadmill of experience, right? Which can drain your energy as an MG. Okay, so we're going to pick an ego card for the MGs. Let's see what the ego is telling our manifesting generator friends about being bored. Manifesting generators can relate to this anyway. Starting things and never finishing them. 50 things happening at once. Okay. That's why manifesting generators that you need a projector around you to help you with your energy and how to use that energy. Because you may say to yourself, well, no, that's just what an MG is. We just flit around and we never get to the depth of anything. No, that's a myth. Okay, so what's the ego telling our manifesting generator friends about this gate of progress? I only got one. Okay. Do we have another one for the MGs? Yeah. Okay. And then I'll do some tarot. Okay. What's some guidance for our manifesting generator friends? Okay. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. So you got MGs, you got the avoid soul purpose. Avoid your soul purpose card. That's what the ego's telling you. Comparison. Apples and oranges there. Comparison card. And then you've got the Nine of Wands. And then the Magician. The Magus. Okay. And how this relates to this. Mars and Jupiter in the 35. Hungry. I'm hungry for a distraction. Right? And how the ego plays you. So how the ego is playing you is with comparison. Right? And this is about avoiding your soul purpose. Maybe you've been called, maybe some opportunity came into your life, right? And you chose the ego. You chose the ego. Well, and how this can work is, well, it's covered. Somebody else is doing this, right? Somebody else is doing this. So they're better than me at it. This is all the ego. This, right? Nine of Swords. This is ego talk, right? Well, somebody else is better than you. You're not very good. So why bother, right? Why bother trying? And this is, or it's too hard. I'm not good enough. It always comes with self-worth issues too when you're comparing yourself to others. Or you want to be special. That's another ego trip. Well, I need to be special. I need to be the best at this. The best at this. I need to win. I need to be better than somebody else. That's the ego. Hierarchy. That's comparison too. And as soon as you do that, I'm special. You're in the game. The ego's got you like a yo-yo, up and down, right? The ego can play you. And that's like, you're special, right? You're so good, you're so that. You're getting this validation from the external world, and then now you're the worst of the worst because there's another person and they're better than you. That envy. And then you're up and down, and then you're out of your power, and then your life force energy starts to drain. That sacral energy because you're not using it correctly. You're listening to your ego, right? And not your strategy and your authority. So the thing with this, right? Because the comparison, what I see here is the comparison that the ego's got you trapped in, right? The ego's got you comparing yourself to other people. Is this is avoiding your soul purpose. So you're busy in here, right? I'm comparing myself. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm the best. Oh, I'm the worst. Up and down. Your emotions are going up and down, right? Meanwhile, your soul purpose is just going by, right? It's passing you by. And the ego is like, yeah, right? The ego doesn't want you doing this. Because there's no specialness in doing your soul purpose, right? There's a vulnerability, the 59, Mercury in retrograde. This is about vulnerability. There's a vulnerability in doing your soul purpose because you have to open up your heart. You can't do your soul purpose without opening up your heart, you know? So this is really, in terms of the 35, the ego will say, well, you know, there's somebody else that's better than you, right? Better than you at this. You're nothing to grow home about, you know? So just go on a vacation. Go on a vacation from your spiritual journey. Get hungry for something else, right? And the ego will promise things to you. We'll do this and try this and get in this relationship and go to this training and this and this and this. And it's completely about avoiding your soul purpose. So as an MG, what I would say, because the new moon is in the 33, remember? We're still in the new moon cycle, is to retreat. It's to take pause, to really get clear on my soul purpose, right? Am I in this comparison trip? Am I avoiding my soul purpose? Am I listening to that ego? It's really easy. Am I listening to that ego, not self? Or am I listening to my strategy and authority? At least your intuition, right? Are you listening to your intuition? Or are you in this Nine of Swords energy? Anxiety and fearful. As soon as we get close to our soul purpose, the ego comes out swinging. We all have to go through this on the soul's journey. We have to confront the ego. And the fastest way you confront the ego is when you're coming close to your soul purpose, and now with the twin flame, right? You have to face this ego. Okay. So what is the advice here? Is good. Just talking about this energy. The Nine of Wands. I'm going to persevere. I'm not going to fall for these ego trips anymore. I've gone on so many dead-end roads. Reflect on the dead-end roads that you've been through as an MG. Oh, yeah, I tried that. Yeah, I did that. Oh, I never finished that training. I had so much hope for this, and then I was disappointed. This relationship ended up being disappointed, right? Well, you want to look at where you gave up. Where you gave up on yourself. Because the nine of Wands is saying to persevere. It's to have faith, right? To have faith. And that you will be, nobody comes and hands you, like freedom isn't free. Nobody comes and hands you without effort, right? Without making an effort and testing, going through the test of faith, jumping through those fiery hoops, right? On the spiritual journey. We all have to go through this, and we all have to go through this Nine of Wands energy. This is the wounded warrior. This is like I've been through the battle, but here I'm still showing up. We just talked about this in the generator reading. I'm still showing up for my sadhana, right? I'm keeping on, right? I'm showing up. This is the test of my faith. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up on myself. I'm not going to listen to that ego that says, just go on a vacation. Then you're on a vacation and then boom, you're back here on planet Earth, doing it over and over, like Groundhog Day, doing it over and over and over again until you get it. So why not get it now? This is the window of opportunity right now that we're living in, MGs. And then you got the Magician card that says you have everything. Everything you need is already inside you. Everything. No need to run out and get trainings and qualifications and all that stuff. 35 is about experience, right? It's about experience. So this is saying that the MGs have accumulated enough experience. Now it's time to integrate it, and now it's time to teach, right? Because with the 35 too, it's about the warrior. I need more and more experiences. I need to accumulate experiences, one right after another, but eventually you need to let that go, and then you need to teach. As an MG, you need to teach. You need to share these experiences, what you've learned, especially if you're a third line, sixth line. It's time for you to be the teacher now. That's what this is saying. And it's saying that you have everything. The Magician has all the elements, right? This is inspired action. It's focus. It's not listening to the ego. It's like you and your soul are one, and you're focused on your soul purpose. Yeah. So there's some questions they're asking. It's like, what do I want to create? Go deep within. Meditate. What do I want to create? Right? What's my dream? Why? Ask yourself those questions. What actions can I manifest? Right, with my goals. Go to your sacral. What am I responding to? What's life is bringing me things. What am I responding to now? Yeah. And it's connected to Mercury. So it's time to be honest with yourself, right? 59 is about honesty. Okay. Okay. This is Bethany Sachs asks, I love that, Thomas. The Neutrino Astrology dating app, eh? Who's in? Who knows, eh? Maybe this the Twin Flame webinar series could be like a little dating spot for people, right? Who haven't met their twin flame. Who knows? Bethany Sachs is obviously a generator, right? So need to teach as well. So these are personal messages, right? With these are like intuitively guided because I'm picking the cards right here. Yeah, so it depends. In terms of soul purpose, if you look at your natal chart and you've got a 0.6 on the black side or the red side, then yes, you definitely have to teach. I'll say that. Yeah, it's a 6 line. Yeah, but I'll be talking about a true teacher at the Soul Purpose 2027. Okay. So anything else for the MGs? That's my message, is do not give up on yourself. That's what I feel that ego's got you by the neck, right? Ego's got you in that 9 of Swords, anxiety and fearful and worry, right? How am I going to pay my bills and blah, blah, blah. How's that's going to work? You want to transcend. This is what we're doing. We're transcending this fear vibration on this planet. We're moving into the soul vibration, right? For the sleeping phoenix. So not to get caught there. That's where the ego wants you caught in this frequency of fear on this planet, right? But it's up to you, MGs. You got to believe in yourself and you got to find that fight for yourself. The manifesting generators are the spiritual warriors of all the types. They're the spiritual warriors. So you've got it in you. It's just like you got to turn to the real enemy, which is to go inside and face that bully. That's your ego, not self-mind. Yeah. That's what I see. Okay. So let's go for the projectors. There's quite a few here on the chat. So let me know if you're a projector. Okay. So projectors, we're talking about the Jupiter and Mars conjunction in human design, and it's in the 35. From August 6th, it's already activated to the 14th. Okay. And this is the shadow of hunger. It's like compelled. The shadow will have you compelled. Especially if you have this natally, then this is you, then that's cool. But if not, then it's a transit that's going to compel you into new experiences, which may or may not be correct for you. And that's, you want to honor your type as a projector, and that means waiting to be recognized and invited to new experiences. Okay. Okay. So what do we have for our projector friends? What's the... Oh. Let's see. Projector friends. It's too many. Let me see. Check on the Neutrino. Are these two correct? Yep. Okay. Okay, and then we'll do some tarot here. It's an interesting one. Okay, what guidance do we have for the projector? Okay. Okay. What do we have for the guidance for the projector or projector friends? Okay, I think we got that last time. We have another one. Okay. Okay. I'm not doing very well today, but there we go. Okay. Need some water. I just felt this surge of anger. And the projector's angry and bitter. Okay. So we've got the revenge card. Revenge. Revenge is sweet. And then the heartbreak card. And then the Ace of Pentacles. And I think the projectors got this last time too. And then the Fool card. So this is the guidance. Okay? So let's look at this 35. And the 35 projectors is all about feeling better. Feeling better. Because really the 35 is like you're looking for new experiences. It's the gate of experience here on the 35. But it's really, in terms of the experience, emotionally you want to feel better. I just want to feel better. I don't want to feel this bitterness anymore. That's the projector. I'm tired of waiting, right? As a projector. So, revenge. So this is about the past again, right? And it's connected to heartbreak. It's reminding me of the generator reading just because they got the Three of Swords, right? Is yeah. So heartbreak and wounded in the past and then wanting to get back. So of course you're a sweet little projectors out there watching this, right? Of course this isn't conscious. Maybe it is, right? But it's unconscious. This can be unconscious of wanting revenge. So we have to bring it back to childhood. There may be an inner child within you that wants revenge for getting hurt in the past. And so how this can play out, this is really interesting. This is when we don't do our work, our inner work, then it rules our life. We're not even aware of it, right? It can rule our life. So what happens is this, well, what happens with this revenge energy? I have no idea. I feel like I've done a lot of forgiveness work and I've done a lot of inner child work and I've right? People have been saying this on the chat. They've done so much work already. Well, it can get expressed, right? It can get expressed through accidents in life. Right? Like having a car accident or something like that. Or failures or losses. Some kind of failure or loss in your life. Illness. Or a general setback. Right? So you may say, that's ridiculous. I would never want these things. No, you don't. But your soul, right? Your soul's at work, right? So this is created by you as a great soul. The soul's in charge of everything, all of this, all the people that come into your life, all the experiences, everything. The soul's in charge. So if it's bringing, like projectors, if you're having these experiences, like, oh, I had an accident, I had like this general setback, these failures and losses, I had this unexpected bill came, right? I'm not feeling well, my health isn't good, right? Then it's been created so that you can see this energy. Because what's the energy that comes up, right? So what is this the cause? Is this the cause? No, this is the effect, right? This is the effect. Projectors, the effects are these things, like just general, let's just put it under one umbrella, general setback, right? That's the effect. It's not the cause, right? The cause, we need to bring it back to, like, let's say childhood. It all goes back to childhood. Something happened in childhood. We're going to say it's a broken heart. Somebody broke your heart. It was unfair, right? It's usually a caretaker. Broke your heart way back, way back. Might have been 2 or 3 years old, right? This is the cause. That's the cause. This is energy. This is stuck energy. This is low frequency energy of revenge. Wanting to get back. I want to get back at them. They've got to pay for what. That's how a child thinks, right? A child has the broken heart. And then it's like, I've got to protect it. Now, let's go even deeper with this. I really want projectors to get this. So you've got your inner child that got their heart broken, right? That's 0 to 7 years old. And then you've got the teen. You got your teenager self. You've got your inner child inside you. You got your teenager self inside you. They never grow up, right? But they stay stunted, right? So there's the inner child. This is the cause. And then the effect, right, are like just shitty things happening in my life. Let's say shitty things, right? That's the effect. So you've got the inner child. That's like creating this, right? Creating this effect so that these emotions can start to surface, right? Which is hurt and pain. But then if you look at the teen is also influenced by this inner child, and this would be the revenge, right? So there's the hurt inner child, and then the teen is like, that person needs to pay. They need to pay for what they did. That's how the teen thinks, like, I got to get back, because they don't want to feel this. Do you see how they work in tandem? The inner child and the inner teen. The teen is protecting, misguided protection of the inner child and that hurt and pain, right? But there's the teen. It's like, I need revenge. I need to get back, right? And so what happens is this stuff comes up, right? This anger has to come up, projectors, this bitterness, to finally let it go, Okay. This can also lead to alcohol. Alcohol drinking. This is the hunger, right? The 35 will have a drink, right? Have a glass of wine, have this, have that. And this is all about an avoidance of feeling that broken heart as a projector, right? And so why people drink alcohol is it soothes the nervous system the first time, but then it never, it's an addiction. It never has the same effect as the first time. What else do I want to say about this? Hopefully this is making sense. As I said, I'm not doing very well today. Not 100% on my game. Okay. So basically it's keeping you from moving ahead. This is a new beginning. It's the Fool's Journey. It's the new beginning, new journey. It's a leap of faith. It's an adventure. The gift of the 35 is an adventure, right? Okay. So I think what I want to say is to take responsibility. That's all. Whatever's going on in your life right now, like, just take responsibility. Like, okay, It's created. I've created this. A part of me has created this so that I can integrate it. I need to integrate this anger. If I'm feeling anger, then let it surface. Right? There's lots of meditations you can do for anger, inner anger, just to let it go. Yeah. Okay. Because what this is stopping you from is this new opportunity. A new opportunity from the divine that's coming in and setting you on your path. So what old energy are you dealing with now? That's what I would look at. And right, it's the 33. The new moon's in the 33 for this cycle. So it's taking a respite, going within and feeling, right? Like, yeah, this thing happened. I'm gonna do what Michael said. I'm gonna okay, I created this. Why did I create it? And then you go deeper and deeper inside and you keep feeling it until the end, and then it will start to release. But don't go into victim. That's this Nine of Swords. I'm just going to go into victim and anxiety. Why is this happening to me? It's happening for your healing. Be positive about it. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Just pipe up if you're a projector. And I can elaborate on this. Hopefully my prayer is that it makes sense to you. Yeah. Okay, great. I know Harry Doss is a projector. Okay. So anything else? Just take responsibility, take accountability, projectors, and let go of that anger and bitterness and start your new journey. Right? This is an invitation. That Ace of Pentacles is an invitation that's being blocked right now. Okay. And that's the best thing you can do. I mean, it's Leo season. It's the inner child. Leo is the divine child of the zodiac. Okay, let's go for manifestors. So manifestors, we're talking about the Mars and Jupiter conjunction in the 35. It's the shadow of hunger. It's the gate of progress. It's about looking for new experiences, getting bored by life, like nothing's happening. Okay. Okay, let's see here. What do we got for the manifestors? What do we have for our manifestor friends? What do we have for our manifestor friends? For this Mars-Jupiter conjunction, what do they need to know? Manifestor friends. Okay. Okay. And let's do... What do we have for our manifestor friends? It's too many. Okay. Okay, manifestors. We got the Hopium card. Hopium. My pillow here. We got the Hopium card. We got the I don't think I heard that right card. And then the Three of Wands. Oh, and the Four of Swords. Okay. So, in terms of manifestors, because we're talking about this 35, it's all about a new adventure. I need to approach it like that. I'm feeling intuitively that's the way to go for the manifestors. So manifestors, remember your strategy is you receive divine inspiration, right? And then you inform. That's your strategy. Then you inform, then you initiate. So this is saying that things are coming in, right? You're getting ideas, you're getting inspirations, and then your ego or not self is talking you out of it and saying, I don't think I heard that right. Right? I don't think I heard that right. And basically the ego is talking you out of, right? The divine inspiration, right? Your intuition. Right? And you know, as a manifestor, there's a part of you that knows this is true. This is true. I need to inform, I need to initiate, but I allow my ego to talk me out of it. Right? Because the manifestors fear rejection. That's part of their thing. They fear that they share and they initiate and that they'll be rejected. They feel that they'll be controlled as manifestors. So what the ego has got you doing is hooked on hopium like it's a drug. So addicted to the feelings of hope. This would be good for the 35. I just love these feelings of hope, right? I'm just keeping it in fantasy land. I'm not going to share with anybody. I'm just going to be in this hopium, like in some kind of fantasy, right? So this is what you're addicted to, the feeling of the feelings of this, right? This is the 35. I'm chasing a feeling. I don't want to really take action on this. I just want it here where it's safe. Right? I don't need to share. I don't need to risk being rejected. Right? I'm just keeping it here, and I feel so good. It's like I'm doing something, almost. Right? As a manifestor. Because it's safer. Because it's safer. Yeah. So this is the disconnect. Inspiration's coming through. You go into fantasy land about it. You don't follow the steps of sharing, informing, and initiating, and nothing happens, right? You just stay in the feelings. So that's what this 35. This fits with the 35 too. Okay, so what's the guidance? Is this fits with the 33, right? The Four of Swords. It's to go into retreat. There's actually the word is retreat. Go into a retreat here. How can I quiet my thoughts? Right? Quiet my thoughts. Don't go into the ego trying to talk you out of initiating, talk you out of sharing and informing. What do I need to contemplate? Don't go into the feelings. Right? Don't get caught up in some kind of fantasy land. That's the ego too. I'm going to contemplate this more. Right? I'm going to meditate on this more. I'm not going to allow my mind to take over, right? To take over. I'm just going to really feel it. Right? And then this is expecting the best. Right? This is you after you've initiated. Right? I've gone into rest recovery. Maybe you do this. Rest recovery and silence. Keep your mind silent as much as possible. A great way to do this is play mantra music, Kundalini yoga mantra music. Just have that playing. I'm going to disconnect from social media and socializing with others. I'm going to retreat, and then I can listen for my guidance. And then that ego is not going to be so quick to step in. You'll be able to catch them. I caught you. I caught you trying to pull me into fantasy land or talk me out of my intuition, right? And then what do you do then? Is then you initiate, you inform, you initiate, and then you wait. And then you wait, right? For the ships to come in, and that's for it to manifest. That's what I see there too. Yeah. So you're continually expanding. When you're in the I don't think I heard that right, the ego trying to talk you out of your intuition and hopium, you're limited. You're in limitation. You're totally in limitation. And remember Pluto, still in the 60, right? Fifth line now. This is the shadow of limitation, right? Shadow of limitation. Okay, what else? Don't get sidetracked. That's what I really feel, is don't get sidetracked by that ego taking you down dead-end roads with the hope, nothing getting done. Write in your book, right? Maybe I have a bullet journal that I love, right? I can keep track of to-do lists, but also any significant things that happen to me during the day, and then really take note and accountability of how long you've been in this opium. Yeah, that the ego's had you trapped in. Yeah. Because it will bring up nervousness. Your intuition isn't like, oh, I love it, right? The ego is going to react to it, and it brings up fear usually. It brings up a lot of fear. Okay, anything else for that? You just want to keep expanding, and that means you got to get out of your comfort zone. And remember, you have so much power as a manifester. Every other type wants to be a manifester. But we're not. Only you are. Okay. Okay, so let's go for the reflectors here. Reflectors. 1% of the world. Okay. Wolfie Wolf. Go to the information box and you can get your free chart. What I would do is I would put in like the different times of birth. So the morning, the afternoon, late afternoon, evening, and often the type won't change, but it may change. But I would say go and get your birth certificate. You want that anyway. And then you can really be accurate with your with what your type is and whatnot. It's an hour and 50 minutes already? That's crazy. I told you about the time. Time's doing crazy things. It's like I just got on here 5 minutes ago. Okay. So let's go for the reflector here. And we're talking about the Jupiter and Mars reflectors in the 35. That's the gate of progress. Here. So Jupiter expands whatever it's touching. And so this gate is all about compelling you to go out and have new experiences. Okay. And I always love to hear from the reflectors. There's only 1% are reflectors. And I like to look at this reading as kind of the wrap up for all the types and the twin flames. Okay, what's the ego? What do we need for our reflector friends? What do we need for our reflector friends? What do we need for our reflector friends? Okay, what do we need for our reflector friends? What do they need to know? Those two. And then this. guidance for our reflector friends? What's the guidance for our reflector friends, please? What's the guidance for our reflector friends? Okay. Okay. So the reflector got the spiritual ego card and the glass is half empty card. And then the 9, the 10 of wands, and then the 2 of pentacles. Okay. So spiritual ego, this is a the sneakiest of all egos that we all have to deal with. So this is like spiritual narcissism. And the easy way to know that it's spiritual ego is that you're all up in your mind, all up in the mind. I'm intellectualizing spirituality. This is like a kindergarten kid, right? 3, 4 years old. And they're in university and pretending that they're a PhD, right? That's spiritual ego. Ego cannot understand spirituality. It's way, way beyond its pay grade, right? So these are the people that need the 100 levels to consciousness and things like that. It's all the mind, right? It's all about the mind. And it's keeping you away from true spirituality. It's worshiping the finger, right? The finger pointing at the moon. It's not looking to the moon, but actually worshiping the finger that's pointing to the moon. So this is about playing a role, to be aware of that. Maybe your ego is telling you to, a spiritual person wouldn't do that. A spiritual person wouldn't cuss. A spiritual person wouldn't do that, right? Like the script to keep you rigid and limited. So this is about serving. What happens here is you end up serving the ego and not your spiritual self. Yeah. And also to be aware of, because there's 2 kinds of people that come on the spiritual path. Those that are seeking love, which is to seek their soul. They're seeking their soul. They're seeking self-realization. And then the other ones that are seeking power. And they're seeking ego. They're seeking the ultimate power, which involves the material world. I want complete power over the material world. I want to manifest the money I want. I want to manifest that perfect partner. I want to manifest all these material things, right? That's power, seeking power, not seeking love and soul. This is true. This is truth. And this is false right here. So to be aware of that, and then you got the glass is half empty. So this could be addicted to negative thinking, a pattern about not getting your hopes up. And it puts a block to your manifestation. You're writing a dark story with the glass is half empty. So seeing things in a negative perspective and needing to control that with the spiritual ego. So this definitely fits with the 55, right? The 55 is not activated, but the 55 and the 59 go together, right? They're twins. And the 55 plays a huge part in the solar plexus mutation. And the 55.6, that's the new theme in 2027. So this is about this. This glass is half empty, the glass is half full. It's about your perspective, right? Your perspective on things. So of course it goes up and down. You see the positive of things, you see the negative of things. And if you're an emotional being, well, you're not going to be as a reflector because you're open. But if you're watching this and you're an emotional being, then you know this up and down. When the emotions move in waves, and when you're up in your wave, then everything is half full. You're low on your wave, then everything is half empty. So your emotions affect your perception. Yeah. Okay. So burdened. So the burdened reflectors can feel burdened, overwhelmed by hard work. And then stress. So you got stress and burdened. And it looks like it's coming from the material world, right? It's the Two of Pentacles. So this is about getting out of balance. Getting out of balance. Yeah. So I really feel it has to do with your thinking, reflectors, your thinking. So you might be too much in this Nine of Swords energy, like worrying and fretting. And getting yourself out of balance. Out of balance. So remember, as a reflector, you're supposed to be chill, right? You're just with the moon. You're in the flow, right? You're in the flow in life. But somehow your perspective is being affected by this ego. And the ego, you feel, is your intuition speaking, and it's not. So I would really, really question this. Like, what kind of... what's your intuition telling you? What's it telling you? And more importantly, what are the feelings behind, what's the frequency behind these words? Because like I said, the spiritual ego can be really, really sneaky. And the ego, remember the difference between the voice of the soul, your intuition, and the voice of your ego is consistency. Your intuition is consistent, even in the words and the tone and the energy. It's consistent, it's neutral. The spiritual ego would have a little tiny bit of fear on it, right? So it would say things like, stay away from that person, they're no good, right? Or you better do this because these horrible things going to happen, you know, but it will have the spiritual language on it. So I would watch out for that. Like, it's, to me, like this, the time that we're in right now, remember the new moon in the 33? It's about going deep within, right? And really feeling the frequency of these messages, you know? And when you're able to discern that within yourself, then it's going to be really easy for you to discern it when it's coming from the external. Oh, this has fear on it. This is ego. It's not true. It's not truth. Truth is your soul, right? Truth is your soul. So I feel like you're about to break, right? You're about to break because you're about to let some burden go. Something that's been burdening you is going. And it's probably that spiritual ego that's been on your shoulder, driving you. Yeah. So out of the mind. Don't listen to the mind. Don't listen to the mind. What else? What else do the reflectors need to know? I guess the message that I'm getting is to not identify with your mind. This is for all types. Don't identify with your mind. That your thoughts are going to come and go. Sometimes they'll be negative, super negative and limiting, and other times they'll be expansive. But it's just your mind, and your mind is moving up and down, right? It's moving up and down because it's connected, and you're a reflector. You're reflecting the program. Of course, you're going to see the ups and downs and the ins and outs. Just don't identify with any of it. Because it will go, okay, I've got crappy thoughts today. Wait a couple hours and then they'll be gone. Just don't identify. Just watch it like weather, right? A weather pattern. And then this Two of Pentacles is also the positive of this. Is just to get used to that. The fluctuation, because remember I talked about time speeding up. So this means our experiences are speeding up too. So not to get too attached to what's happening in the world. It's all coming and going and it's flowing. And the reflectors of all the types have to be, you are the program. You're a major part of the program. You reflect back the program to us. So yeah, just embrace this flow. You wax and wane like the moon, right? To be okay with that. You're okay with that. Okay. So that's what I have for everybody. And there's the 2-hour mark. I didn't expect to be here this long. So remember, if you want to go deeper into your soul purpose and go deeper into your chart, like we're going into color, we're going into tones, right? We're going deep into the chart to see where you can align with your soul purpose. It's all there. It's just a compass and a map that's already there for you. And then you've got a deep experience because it's the whole weekend and you're with a group of people. And it's not a huge group of people usually, and that means I have time to actually pull up people's personal charts. And also, you're doing Kundalini yoga and meditation, so you're cleansing at a deep level, right? So it's a great experience. And then the Twin Flames webinar series, that's August 24th and the 31st, so you want to check that out too. Okay, everybody, have a great day and take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.